Hi, my name's Christian. My partner was Eric Secor, and this is our CIT348 Module 2 Crisp DM presentation. Crisp DM stands for Cross Industry Standard Process for Data Mining. That's what the what is and how, a blueprint and a roadmap to follow on any data mining project that you embark on. Why? And it's to organize data teams. These are the steps of Crisp DM: business understanding, data preparation, modeling, evaluation, and deployment. Business understanding is phase one. What is the reason for the analysis project? Why does the business need it? You basically are able to find the true goal for the project, the important factors that the business or that you need to know. You assess the situation, you find out what the cost-benefit analysis is and what it needs to be done, what are the data mining subtasks, and then determine the data mining goals and propose a timeline and project plan. Data understanding phase 2. What data we have or need? Is the data clean? And focus on availability, quality, granularity, and frequency of the data. And so for this, all you do is collect, describe, explore, verify the data, and then after all of that, you're able to begin to develop a hypothesis for analysis. And then data preparation, phase 3. How do we organize the data for the upcoming phase 4, modeling? You format spreadsheets and data standards, and you collect more data and remove null values. You select, clean, construct, integrate, and format all of the data, every single data that you come across. And then on to phase 4. Hopefully phase 3 made it a lot easier for you to go into this, and it's modeling. What modeling techniques and model should we apply to our data? Select the modeling technique used for the model, generate that model, then generate a test design for the model, and then you create the model. And then after that, you assess the model and modeling techniques to see if you need to go back and change it, make it make more sense or not. Evaluation. After creating the model, how do you determine which model best meets the criteria of the business's needs and requirements? And by doing that, you evaluate the results of the model, review everything to do with the model, and then determine the next steps of either going back to fix the model or going forward onto deployment, phase 6. This one, you get to see who gets the data, how do they get the data, when do they get the data. By going through this, you document and plan for developing deploying the model. You plan for monitoring and maintenance to avoid issues with the model once implemented. It could be as simple as a one-time report or an ongoing distribution process. And then you review the entirety of the project for submission in order to submit to bosses, customer, or businesses, etc., and goes on and on. This is why Crisp DM is important. It's hard to describe the importance. It would just more along the lines of be better to talk about the pros and cons and see if it would work for your project or not. So it's generalizable. It's used in some aspect for most data science projects. These are the pros. Adoptable, starts from the right spot, finishes strong, and it's flexible if not used exclusively and rigidly. Cons, rigid if you use it exclusively, like I said before. Very documentation heavy. You have to have documentation on every little thing, every aspect of it. It's not particularly modern, and it's not a project management approach. Then we're going on to some real-world examples given to us by Eric. How many applications do we have at any given point in time? For schools, we need to know if we're up or down ASAP. And he did this for Miami Regionals. How do you define an application? These are the questions that he asked. Do we include or exclude international students, non-degree students, CCP, Oxford students, etc.? How do you define feeder high schools? Again, continuing on with the Miami Regionals aspect, it's data understanding example. Since our business understanding was that we needed to look at where applications up and down compared to last year, last year's applications and this year's applications would be two separate sources. Just know that in order to be able to use the data going forward into data preparation. In a real world example, like a tool like Tableau Prep Builder that we have in this very class was very helpful in combining multiple data files, preparing the data. Without tools like Prep Builder, sometimes you just simply copy and paste the data into a new spreadsheet as necessary. And then that leads into modeling. And the first model that he ended up using was line graphs. Trend lines are typically a great way to show how things compare year to year. Now, for this, they realized when they submitted it, the bosses wanted like a number, like table to be able to like deeply understand it a little bit better instead of comparing it to like between year to year. So after creating the line graph model, they realized management wanted to see numbers and percent changes. So they created the table view of the previously modeled example. And then from there, they created a daily process to update the data model so that when it is published to Tableau online, the key decision makers have access to the reports with real-time data saved into online folders, easily accessible.